If you want to see seats and floor mats shampooed, debris vacuumed up, and stains removed, then this video is for you. But I know this video is a bit long. At first, I was going to show half the cleaning and speed up a lot of it to get it around 20 minutes. So that's where you come in. Please let me know your thoughts. Is it too long? Is it too repetitive? Should I have sped up some more sections? You be the judge. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're interested in the tools and products that we use, or you want to start your detailing business, check the description box down below for those links and guides. And let's start off the detail with the before condition. Now overall, it didn't look that bad, especially the seats. There weren't that many stains on there, although there are some stains that you can clearly see, but overall the seats didn't look all that bad. It wasn't until you actually start cleaning them that you see how much gunk is actually being pulled off. And the same thing applies for the floor mats there, and even the carpeting, and even the roof itself. The headliner, where it just looked like it's a white, headliner, but there's actually a huge layer of dust on the headliner. And throughout the vehicle, you'll find like a bunch of dust and in tight areas behind the door handles, accumulated on the seat rails, underneath the carpeting itself. So there's a lot of areas that you really have to dive into to make sure you're getting out as much of the dirt and debris and filth out of the interior. And the headrests also were very, very bad. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of me cleaning the headrest, but man, every single pass that we did was just pulling off brown and black filth from the headrest. It was crazy. Unfortunately, I didn't record anything, but every headrest was just bad. And this cup holder here, I wish I would have pulled out that plastic cup holder. There was just a huge layer of soda spill, just dripping of nastiness in there. Unfortunately, we cleaned it afterward, but I didn't get a footage of it in this video. And that's what I'm talking about. You can clearly see those stains on this specific seat. A lot of people said it's coffee or stain. It's probably not. I'm assuming it's more like rainwater or just water in general that kind of just got mixed in with something. There's actually wasn't a bad smell at all. Like you opened it, you didn't smell anything. Like there was no nasty smell or scent to it. Like it was just an interior. And it's a little hard to tell of the roof, but there is just a little light hue, like grayish tone to the roof, to the headliner. And because we were working in direct sunlight, I was trying to put my body in front of the sun. That way the sun wouldn't overexpose the shot. So a lot of times you'll see me kind of moving the camera and my body in a weird manner to try to make sure I get the shot. And we're actually using a temporary, in this video at least, we have a new generator now, but our condo generator went down and it's out for repair. So we went to go rent one at Home Depot. And we're actually working on the top floor of a garage. So we're just on the top floor to get the most light into the vehicle, because if we actually work in the garage, then we're very limited on what we can actually see in the interior. I made a recent video of us cleaning the passenger seat from this Jeep, but this is actually here the driver's side, as you can tell. And the seat cleaning is a relatively straightforward process. Of course, we're doing this as a business and we have more professional tools, but it's the same thing if you just want to do this on your personal vehicle. We vacuum the seats. Didn't record that, there wasn't much to vacuum. We vacuum the seats, spray the seat down with your cleaner or APC. Here we're using Super Clean diluted 10:1 and an IK multi 1.5 pump sprayer. Sounds complicated, it's really not. It's just a spray bottle. Then we're going to agitate with our cordless DeWalt drill with a brush attachment. If you just have whatever brush, you're going to go manually, go ahead and do that. And then we're going to extract with our Aqua Pro Vac extractor. If you don't have that, use a steamer. If you don't have that, just use a brush, a towel to mop up the agitation, or use a wet dry vac to suck up what you agitated. And we're going to do everything in one pass, meaning we're going to vacuum the entire seat, we're going to agitate the entire seat, and then we're going to extract the entire seat. It depends on what we're working on, but just in this video here on this detail, we just did the whole seat, one pass. So one pass of vacuuming, one pass of agitation, and one pass of extraction. And I'm not sure if I was doing something wrong. I'm pretty sure I wasn't, because it's a relatively straightforward thing to do. But our Honda generator that we rented kept on dying on us, and this is what happened. Well, that's never good. But no biggie, it just happened a few times. We'd start it back up and things would go back to normal. On the side of the seats, if we can, we'll extract the seat out, and then afterwards what we did is we used a steamer just to make sure we got into the entire side of the cloth material. And as you can tell, it was pretty hammered, as there's orange nastiness coming out. Actually, back a little bit. Is that right again? Now let's move on to the passenger seat. And if you've seen one of my previous videos, this is the seat that we cleaned. So you can skip ahead if you want to skip the part that you already saw. But when it comes to spraying your cleaner, whatever cleaner you're using, sometimes it's going to foam, sometimes it's not. And I'm not too particularly focused on actually seeing any foam. You know, a lot of people like to see that just because it makes it, feel more like you're actually cleaning it, like you're getting a better cleaning out of it. And for a while I did that as well, but after doing it so many times and actually seeing, testing out, actually seeing the results that I get between when it foams and when it doesn't, there isn't really much of a difference. Now, there is a different type of cloth where sometimes, and I can't even describe what vehicle has it or the type of cloth, but there are some cloths that aren't as receptive to the cleaner, as far as like you need to add more cleaner to get a proper agitation, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more foam out of it. So it really does depend on the type of material that you're working on. Here, some parts did foam up, others it didn't. That wasn't my primary concern, because just visually you could tell that we were agitating the stains and such, so it could be easier to extract. Also, it looks like we're putting a lot of cleaner. I guess you could say it is, but is it penetrating the top layer? Is it going down to the foam? Is it gonna wick back up and and have the stains still there? No. By the time we're done, like look, if you can tell how bright it is outside, like the exposure settings that I have on my camera are super low right now, and that just means it's super bright and super hot outside. So by the time we're wrapping up the detail, the interior, the seats, the carpeting, the floor mats, everything is 95% dry. So what we see is the actual results that we're gonna get once we're actually done. There's no surprises. We've never gotten a call back from a customer saying, hey, the stains are back. It's literally like no joke, and this is just you believing what I'm saying, but we've never had a customer say, hey, like they've never called us the next day saying, hey, the stains came back. Like it's never been a problem, because we make sure that we don't oversaturate the area, and we do our best to dry it, whether it be because the weather is hot outside or because we're using our air movers and mopping up as much residue as we can to dry it quicker. Pretty good. And would you look at all that beauty coming out of the seats? Yeah, so, and I'm telling you, it didn't smell like anything. Like there was no harsh scent to anything. It's just either, I'm assuming it's rainwater, it's been sitting there for a while. It wasn't a coffee stain, it wasn't soda, because there was just no smell whatsoever. And I've seen that type of color in various seats and headliners due to rain penetrating the material. Yeah. Do a few more passes. Now let's move on to the rear cargo area where we're going to tackle the floor mats. And I'm using the rear cargo area, one, because I can record better instead of being out in the sun. And it's at waist level, so it gives me like a workbench type area to work. I have just an old beat up, don't care for towel underneath it just to catch any overspray. Instead of hitting the carpeting, it's going to hit the towel. And a great question I get is, what if a stain comes back once we're clean? Like, what if we extract and I still see a stain? Well, we're just gonna repeat the entire process. We're gonna use our cleaner, agitate with a brush, whether it's this drill brush or a bristle, just manually. And then usually we don't extract it again because we don't want to go through the whole drying phase again. So we'll usually just hit it with our steamers and just keep on repeating that process until we're happy with the results. That's literally it. You just repeat the process over and over until you get your desired results. So at this point, we've done almost one floor mat and we've done all 5 seats, but now it's time to refill the extractor. So this is the dirty water that everyone loves to see. And overall, we refilled the extractor twice. Now we'll set those floor mats outside to dry and we can move on to the rear cargo area. Now as you can tell, there's a few debris and crumbs and such, but if you can really pay attention, there's like this light hue to it, like this little white blanket of fur over the carpeting. If you can tell, it's not very obvious, but it is there. And this is just built up dust, dirt, debris, and this is across the entire roof or headliner and inner, whatever you want to call it. It's just really bad right there because obviously it's a horizontal surface. Everything falls down and it accumulates on those sides. So as you see here, the vacuuming picks up a little bit of the debris, but like I said, if you can see, there's just like this little light blanket of white fur or lint or whatever it was. It was, I don't think it was not pet hair, but it was just like fur or fabric of some sort. And here, I was gonna use the DeWalt drill brush with that red cone that we use, but Anthony was actually using it, so I opted out for a Lily pet hair brush, and as you can tell, it does a fabulous job. We basically got around like 97% of all that fuzz out of the carpeting, and it was literally across the entire vehicle. So mostly here in this cargo area because it's the wider area, but it was on there, behind the back row seats, underneath the back row seats, on the carpeting, on the front. It was literally everywhere in the interior. And as an FYI, now that I'm using the Sony a7 III, it doesn't have a flip out camera. So usually is I'll set up the camera, make sure that the lens is wide enough to capture a large portion, and then I just kind of hope I'm in frame, because for me to check, I literally have to I have to go behind the camera and check that I'm in frame. So if you see some weird shots where like I'm almost out of frame but not really, it's just because I just open up the lens as wide as it can, and I just try to make sure that I'm within that frame by just guessing that I'm there. Now let's move on to all this debris. Instead of vacuuming, you could have just sprayed APC or ONR or something and just wipe it all down. You could spray down, agitate with a brush, then wipe it down. You could possibly even blow it out, maybe if you had an air compressor. Plenty of options that you can do. We just opted to vacuum it with the whatever attachment you want to call it there, and then come back with a APC, spray down, and just wipe it down with a towel. In the more tighter section, like the corners and such, we would use a brush to really to get into the very corners that a towel and our fingers couldn't get to. Not getting to you? Whoops. My bad. I mean, this is a really straightforward process. You're literally just gonna spray clean it down and wipe it down with a towel, and every now and then use a brush when you can't reach it with your towel or fingers. Very, very straightforward here. And since this is pretty straightforward, let's go ahead and speed up the process, and let me put some music over it to make it a bit more enjoyable. And I'm back. Did you enjoy the music? So here we're gonna work on the rear cargo area. It's gonna be the same process as we've been doing with everything else. The only thing that might just differ a little bit is that area right there that I'm spraying that looks a little less gray. I'm not gonna put as much cleaner on there because the fibers themselves, like it's really short nap. So I don't need to oversaturate the area or saturate it the same as I am the carpeting side of things. And when it comes to the agitation part, I'm also not going to agitate it as aggressive and as long because again, it's a short nap. It's not really like, it's just not this. It's not as fluff as, you know, if that makes sense. So I don't need to go that aggressive on that section. Same thing with extraction. I'm going to pull it a little faster and not saturate it with the water as much just because of all those reasons. Now let's move on to the rails, and you can tell they're pretty banged up. Dry dirt, debris, nastiness. And before you guys start to hate on the shakiness, look, I am working on a job site. I want to finish it in 4 hours, but because I record this for you guys, it literally takes 5.5, 6 hours to complete. So please bear with me here. So as you can tell, I'm just going to be using the steamer primarily on these rails. You could use just APC and a brush and a towel if you don't have a steamer, but definitely even having this one, which is not the best steamer out there, but I've been using it for the past 2 years, does a very good job to get around those tight areas of the rail and the rail itself. As you can see, I'm blowing the steam into that small little wedge there and then trying to feed the towel through there to mop up any residue.
Nope, sorry about that.
Now here's an example of where I'm going to use APC, but as things don't always go as planned, something went wrong with the spray trigger and it no longer wanted to work on me. So I had to go and switch out a spray trigger, which now I'm going to be carrying extras in the vehicle just in case that happens. But I sprayed some APC and then just wiped it down with a towel. Here's a pro tip when you're working with these like just metal object areas, is that don't just go in there and thrusting your hand trying to clean something, because and make sure your nails are like trimmed down, because it's so easy to either break your nail, or if there's something jagged in there, it is very easy for something to go in between your nail and your skin and your finger. It's happened so many times to where it's just very painful, that can easily be avoided. So don't just go in there jamming your hand trying to clean something. Like, make sure that it's like there's no sharp objects, there's no nails, there's no glass, there's no like just anything that's gonna harm you, because it is so easy to get something jammed between your fingernail and your finger, the skin of your finger. And we have come to the end of the detail, well, at least the video, because when I shoot these after shots, we're not really 100% done. But just because before we get to the very end and before we start wrapping up, I do like to just knock this part out. That way when we are actually done, I can just keep it going, call the customer out, accept payment, talk to them, and then bug out, instead of then needing to record with the camera. So there's still a few things that we needed to touch up here and there that you're not going to see. And one thing that I didn't touch, that I didn't record, that I wish I would have, were the headrests, because the headrests were just literally every headrest that we cleaned, that we wiped down, had just black, brown nastiness coming off. But I'm just telling you, I should have got it. That's my bad. I'll work on that on the next one. But overall, it was a great transformation. The customer was very happy with the results. I want to say, please fact check me on this, but I want to say it's like a 2014 Jeep Wrangler, and I was told it's never been cleaned before. So first of all, you know, it's in great condition for it being that old and it never being cleaned, like thoroughly cleaned. So it was in great condition. Now, of course, after a thorough deep cleaning, it looks much better, because this isn't like one of the worst vehicles we've ever done, but it definitely did need a thorough cleaning on all these surfaces, which it got, and the end result is a very great, clean vehicle. And that's gonna wrap up this video. Give me your feedback on the length of the video. Should I have sped up some segments? Was there too much repetition? Initially, I was gonna cut it down to about 20 minutes by not showing as much of the cleaning and speeding up a lot of the segments, but I figured you guys could be the judge and just let me know. So if you have any other comments or questions, or the haters who just want to come out of the woodworks, leave a comment down below. For all the tools and products used or the guides to start your detailing business, check the description box down below. Other than that, I will see you on the next video.